Washington Street, it's Mrs. Griffith. I'm going to read a story to you today, and it's written by my favorite illustrator, David Catrow. David Catrow has illustrated tons of other books that maybe you know. One of them is called I'm Still Here in the Bathtub, and it's a kind of a silly song book that he wrote and illustrated. He also illustrated the book called Our Tree Named Steve and Ain't Gonna Paint No More. And Miss Metz read a story last week called Stand Tall, Molly Lou Mellon. That was illustrated by him. There's also a book called Doggone Dogs. And then the Max Spaniel books, if you're in first or second grade, you might have read those before. Those are a series that is an easy reader series, and he wrote those Max Spaniel books. Now, if you'll notice, he kind of likes dogs, and he draws a lot of pictures that have dogs in them. This book I'm reading to you today is called Wet Dog, and it's written by Elise Broach, but illustrated by my favorite illustrator, David Catrow. He was a good old dog and a hot old dog as he lay in the noonday sun, and he dozed and he drowsed in the beating down sun with the long pink tongue hanging out. Well, that too hot dog and that too hot sun just had to cool off somehow. So he heaved to his feet and he sniffed the air and he trotted off down the road. Pat, 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 pat. And that's when he saw a man washing a car. A long, black, shiny black car. Old Dog stepped in the soft, cool stream till the wet soaked through to his skin. Then he shook and he shook with his happy dog smile, wagging his happy dog tail. Shaky, shake, shaky, shake, shake. Wet dog, cried the man with the shiny black car. Shoot! Go on now, shoot! Wet Dog smiled his sorry dog smile, and he wagged his sorry dog tail. Then he flapped his ears, and he sniffed the air, and he trotted off down the road. Pat-a-pat, pat-a-pat, pat. And that's when he saw a lady washing some pans, some piled high, sticky high pans. Wet Dog stepped in the splash and the suds till the cool flowed down his fur. Then he shook and he shook with his happy dog smile, wagging his happy dog tail. Shake, 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 shake. Wet Dog! Cried the lady with the sticky high pans. Shoot! Go on now! Shoot! Wet Dog smiled his sorry dog smile, and he wagged his sorry dog tail. And then he flapped his ears, and he sniffed the air, and he trotted off down the road. Pat-a-pat, pat-a-pat, pat. And that's when he saw a lady spraying some blooms, some pale pink, petal pink blooms. Now, blooms are another word for flowers. Wet Dog stepped in the sparkling spray, and the soft mist cooled his face. Then he shook and he shook with his happy dog smile, wagging his happy dog tail. Shaky, shake, shaky, shake, shake. Wet Dog! Cried the lady with the petal pink blooms. Shoot! Go on now! Shoot! Wet Dog smiled his sorry dog smile, and he wagged his sorry dog tail. And then he flapped his ears, and he sniffed the air, and he trotted off down the road. Pat-a-pat, pat-a-pat, pat. And that's when he saw some men playing a song, a singing loud, dancing loud song. Wet Dog stood by the side of the creek, feeling the music rise. Then he danced right into the trickle and the muck with his big soft paws sinking in. And he shook with his happy dog smile, wagging his happy dog tail. Shaky, shake, shaky, shake, shake. Wet Dog! Cried the men with the dancing loud song. Shoot! Go on now! Shoot! Wet Dog smiled his sorry dog smile, and he wagged his sorry dog tail. Then he flapped his ears, and he sniffed the air, and he trotted off down the road. Pat-a-pat, pat-a-pat, pat. Now, if you've ever had a dog stand right next to you, and he's soaking wet, and you know he's going to shake, you quickly try to move out of the way as fast as you can, because it doesn't feel great if you don't want to be wet. That's when he came to a lake. Now there by the shore in the beating down sun were people in fine fancy clothes. There were ladies in curls, men in bow ties, babies in soft flouncy hats. Wet Dog stood by the lake and he looked at the crowd in that too hot sun. Then he stepped right into the shimmering cool of that too cool water. And he slished and he splashed in the rippling waves and he bounded back onto the shore. He was wet to the bone, and he shook, shaky, shake, shaky, shake, shake. Wet dog, cried the people in their fine fancy clothes. Shoo, oh now, shoo! But Wet Dog shook with his ears flying fast and his wet fur spraying. And the baby just laughed. She was a fine fancy baby in 2 hot clothes with the water fresh on her face. She laughed and she laughed, clapping her hands at the Wet Dog rain in the air. More, cried the baby with arms open wide. More, dog, more. Then the people laughed too. And they danced and they dove and they splashed and they strode into the blue, cool water. Well, they splashed and they danced how they splashed and they danced as the sun slid low in the sky. And they patted Wet Dog from his ears to his tail. Hooray, Wet Dog, hooray! Now, if you look at the pictures in this that David Catrow illustrated, they kind of tell their own story. If you look at the end of the story, you see this lady in this bright yellow dress, and she's got flowers on her dress. And we saw that lady earlier in the story. She was actually the lady from the beginning with the petal pink blooms. And she was doing her flowers at the beginning. Wet Dog came to visit her. And we see some other people at the wedding too that were familiar. The people that played the instruments were from that band. And if you take a look at this guy diving into the water, we saw him earlier in the story too. He was the man washing his car. And you can see the lady with the flowers again right there. And then if you look at this picture, you can see this lady with the hat. Remember her from the beginning? She was baking cakes. So all of those people showed up in the story, so the pictures actually told their own story starting from the beginning. This man is washing his car so he can get it ready for the wedding. He's the limo driver for the bride and groom. And the next lady is baking cakes. And you can see right here at the top, there's the bride and groom. That was another hint that told us she was going to a wedding. And this lady right here, she was getting the flowers ready for the wedding. And then these guys right here, they were going to play the music for the wedding. And then so at the end, you can see all those people, and they show up at the wedding. You can see all those people in the background. Also, I like his illustrations because they're funny. If you take a look at the very end when everybody's jumping into the water, this is one of my favorite pictures. There's the wedding cake, but on the top, instead of that bride and groom, it's a duck. And she's wearing the bride's veil, and then there's a frog, and he's sitting on top of the duck wearing the top hat that the groom should be wearing. So I really hope you enjoyed that book. It is one of my favorites. I hope to see you soon. Love you. Bye.